How hard is it to trade with the trend? If you're one of these traders where literally if you take 100 trades, every single one of them will be against the trend. Even though you're trying not to, you're trying to take trades with the trend, every trade you take is just against the trend. And it seems to be a skill that you just can't master. Believe me, I've been there. When I was learning to trade and I would post setups in various Facebook groups and I'd ask for opinions on trades that I take, every single person or every single trade that I took, everyone was always like, it's against the trend, you got to trade with the trend is your friend. And you're sitting there scratching your head like, well, how do I do it? How do I trade with the trend? Because even though I think I'm trading with the trend, I'm not. Every trade that I take is against the trend. And it's so frustrating. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to trade with the trend the simple way. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is simply because I'm actually taking a Mogwai signal with the trend. How do I know that? Because the bands are facing up like this. You see here at the top, this trade's against the trend because the bands are facing up. But look at the bands now. They're going up. So this is a trade with the trend. Now, it's actually funny because when this signal appeared on Aussie US dollar, I actually got the same signal on NZUSD, as you can see here, and Euro USD here. Again, well, kind of prices going sideways here on Euro USD. But NZUSD, I got a signal here for a buy, and Aussie US dollar, I got a signal for a buy here. Now, out of the 3 signals, why did I choose to only take one on Aussie US dollar? Well, in fact, it's actually quite simple because there is a resistance area here. So we've got a resistance, or it's actually support now. We've got a support area here. We've got the MACD going oversold. We've also got a divergence arrow here. And we've got a Mogwai arrow. And also, this trade is against the trend. So as you can see here, this Mogwai signal is against the trend because the bands are facing up. And now the bands are obviously facing up and price is reversed. We've now got a beautiful Mogwai signal with the trend. And as you can see here, that explains why I've took Aussie US dollar. Now, if you haven't got the binary destroyer, don't worry. I'm going to show you now how to trade with the trend using pure price action. Now, firstly, I'm going to explain to you how trends happen. And to do that, we're going to bring up a blank chart. So for instance here, USD JPY, 5-minute charts, and I've got pure candlestick analysis here. And I'm going to explain to you now why trends happen. And to do that, we're going to go over, let's just go over to, in fact, this is actually a wrong currency pair to trade. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. Do I want to bring up this one, or let's maybe have a look at the monthly? Yeah, okay, so let's bring up the daily. Okay, I'm just going to draw up some support and resistance on the daily now. Okay, so I'm going to draw that area just there, here. So nice little area just there. And also I'm going to mark up a nice area just here as well. Okay, so let's zoom in now. This is USD JPY on the daily time frame, and as you can see here, we've got a nice resistance area at the top here. We've got a touch, oh, hold on, you can't see it. Here we go, we've got a touch there. Okay, and if we go back in the charts, we've got another touch there, another touch there, and again another touch there and there. And we've also got a nice bit of support area here. We've got a touch there, we've got a touch there, and if we keep following it along, we've got a touch there, we've got a touch there, a touch there, and again a touch there. And also if we bring it back here, a touch there and there. So if we just focus now on one area on USD JPY, let me move myself out the way, and the area we're going to focus on is this bit here. So we've got a resistance area at the top here, we've got a support area here. Now the reason why prices come here and dropped is simply because there's been a lot of sellers at this market. The reason why currency pairs currency pairs move, and also stocks and indices or whatever you're trading with the Forex market, it moves from buying and selling. So a lot of sellers were selling USD/JPY here, which forced the price down. There were more sellers than there were buyers. And this is the same here. Okay, there was a lot more buyers at this market than there was sellers, which drove the price up. Simple? That's pretty much it. Keep it simple. So when you see this price rocketing up here, what do you think's happening? There's a lot of buyers in the market. So there's a lot of buyers now driving this currency pair up. Eventually, USD/JPY is going to come to a resistance area, and more sellers are going to come into play and drive USD/JPY back down. But currently right now, there's a lot of buyers. There's a lot of momentum for a buy on USD/JPY. Okay, now let's go back to this setup here. I want you to focus on this move here from the top of this resistance to the bottom of this support line here. This move here. This move here is in fact a 206 pip move from the top of this resistance to the bottom of this support. Now this move here is in fact called a trend. It's in fact a downtrend. If we go over now to the lower time frame, so let's have a look at the 30-minute time frame. Can you see this move here? This is in fact this move here. Now when it comes to time frames, every single time frame is telling you the same story. It's giving you the same price on all time frames. The only difference is it's showing you a different angle to that story. What I mean by that, okay, and a lot of traders get confused about time frames. If we go back over to the daily, we can see here that prices bounce from this resistance to this support line at the bottom on the daily. If we go over to the 30 minutes, it's done exactly the same thing. It's bounced from the resistance at the top to the support at the bottom. It's the same price. It's the same move. It's still a 206 move, as you can see here. Look, 206 pip move. The only difference is you're seeing a different angle to this move. Now, this move here is called a trend. You'll probably see it better on the 15-minute charts. Let me just find you. Here we go here. Okay, this is that move here. This is called a trend. It's a trend down from this resistance to this support. Now, what we want to do to get a direction of a trend is include something called moving averages. Now, moving averages is what traders use to gauge a trend in the market. Let me show you here. If we go to insert like this, indicator, trend, as you can see here, is already in trend, and we insert a 25 moving average. If we go to insert again, I'm going to include a 50 moving average as well, and we're going to make that, let's make it blue. And I'm going to include as well a moving average of a 100 like this. We'll make this black. So as you can see here now, oh, there we go. I'll make that black like that. So as you can see here, we've got 3 moving averages. And notice how the price is below these moving averages. And the reason for this is because this is a downtrend like this. Now, it looks quite big, doesn't it? It looks a big downtrend. But in the grand scale of things, it's not. It's really just this tiny little move here on the daily time frame. That's all that move is. But when you go down to the lower time frames, that trend gets bigger. Now, what we use to get into trades with the trend is actually quite simple. I'm going to include as well a zigzag indicator. All these indicators are free, by the way, in the MT4 or MT5 if you have that. I'm going to make this. Let's make this blue. I'm going to make the width a little bit better like this. Here we go. Here. Now what this zigzag indicator does, it tells me trends and pullbacks in the market. So as you can see here, we've got our resistance at the top, we've got our support at the bottom. Now just watch what happens now with this currency pair. So you can see price came up to this resistance at the top, and what did I say? A lot of sellers started selling here, driving the price down like this. Notice how the moving averages started to cross over like this. So we went from an uptrend to a downtrend. See that? Because the moving averages and price was above the moving averages, they've now crossed over and price is below the moving average. Let me just show you this on a better example. Okay. Let me find you a example at the top. I'm trying to find you an example here. Here's a good example. Notice how price is above the moving averages and the moving averages cross over just there, and price is now below the moving averages. So in an uptrend, price is above it, below it. In a downtrend, the price is below it. So as you can see here, I'm using moving averages to predict or see trends. So when I see moving averages crossing over each other, what do you think is happening? A trend change is happening. So instantly, if we look at the charts right now, what is USD/JPY doing? It's in an uptrend because price is above the moving averages. Correct. Now let's go back to that setup that I was showing you on the 30-minute time frame. Here we go. Okay, what I've included now is that zigzag indicator, and what this does is it tells me pullbacks in the market. So let me give you an example here. So we obviously have our resistance area at the top. I've showed you that already. And what's actually happened is prices come down like this. Well, obviously it's going to come down because there's a lot of sellers selling this currency pair. We then pull back like this. See how it's pulled back? We then drop again. We then pull back. We then drop. We then pull back. We then drop. We then pull back and then drop. So what this is this is a downtrend. It's a 200 pip downtrend move from this resistance area to this support area at the bottom, and all along it does the same. Trend down, pull back, trend down, pull back, trend down, pull back, trend down, pull back, trend down. Now, if you want to be a consistent profitable trader, you want to be a good trader that makes profits, and you want to trade with the trend, when you look at the charts, you need to start breaking it down. So first thing I would do is obviously mark up your support and resistance areas, and then include moving averages like I have here, 25, 50, 100. When you start seeing the moving averages crossing over, you know that a possible trend change is happening. So let's give you a live example now on USD/JPY. So USD/JPY is in an uptrend because look at the moving averages. Eventually, what's going to happen on USD/JPY is it's going to come to some kind of resistance area at the top. We're going to be getting a lot of sells happening, and then it's going to drive that currency pair down. As that currency pair goes down, these moving averages are going to start to cross over one another. Like this here, they're going to start to cross over one another. When that happens, we know that we're now going from an uptrend to a downtrend. And this is where we want to be selling, at the top of a downtrend, because we basically want to be buying at the bottom of an uptrend. So we basically capture the big move. And then on a situation like this, we want to be selling here and riding the price all the way down. So if you want to trade with the trend, do what I've done here. Start to break it down. So going back to this setup that I took with the binary destroyer. Now with the binary destroyer, I actually have a slight advantage over price action traders because I'm using indicators. So let me show you what I mean with the binary destroyer. So you can see here, we've got a support line here. Okay, you can see that. Look at the wicks on bottom now. You see how the MACD has crossed over and I've got a Mogwai signal. Now what I'm looking for is price to close above this TCA line. Can you see here, right? Let's just focus on the TCA line for instance. When price is in an uptrend, the TCA line turns red. When the price is in a downtrend, the TCA line turns red. I mean, when it's an uptrend, the TCA line is green. When it's a downtrend, the TCA line is red. So what I'm looking for now is that TCA line to turn green to confirm, yes, Jamie, this is going to be a trade with the trend. That is pretty much it. And that's why I've took a Aussie US dollar trade with the Mogwai strategy with the trend. So yeah, I hope that video was educational. I hope you got something from it. If you do have any questions, put a link or just put a question in the comment sections below and I'll answer that for you. If you want to send me a direct email, you can. My name's Jamie Palmer and thank you for watching.